So this video is going to be a little bit of a walkthrough as to our days doing the chicken butchering for our Cornish cross, and it was absolutely the best thing we could have ever done, and I highly recommend it to any of you homesteaders out there. If you have a chance to butcher your own chickens, get some help for sure, and then just get things really super organized, and then just have fun. So let's take a look at the chicken butchering. My friend is going to show you how to butcher a chicken, as far as how to gut it and do the evisceration, it's called. She does such a good job.
Wow, these feet are pretty easy to cut off.
There we go. So why are you covering up their head?
So they go to sleep faster.
What's wrong?
I got the green. I cut
The file?
Yeah, we need a hose to hose this out.
Right. Well, Joshua, you got the hose, so you know what to do there. So Ethan, how do you know you've got a good cut?
Well, there's a lot of blood coming out.
So more than just like a drip drip?
Yeah, solid stream.
Solid
That.
stream? What's been one thing you've been learning about doing these birds? Doing the cut, the kill? Does it kind of make you appreciate a proper kill more?
A little bit, yeah.
So what are you doing, Laurie?
I am eating out chickens and learning to run the freeze dryer. I don't like this knife. Okay. There's a thigh and a drumstick.
You keeping the wings?
Yeah, I believe I am. And these are cold.
Sorry, little buddy.
Recently,
And another one.
chickens have really bad better. They're just
I'm going to take the wings off. These wings are bigger than the ones that we did yesterday.
Which is perfect. As long as, well, don't let it get too hot or it'll cook the skins right off.
We're going a little bit down.
All right.
That's fine, yeah. Well, and we don't, and it tears up the skin.
Okay, got 2 wings. We'll just take a little bit there. 2 wings. And then the breast meat.
You find that this part is the hard part?
The breasts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Just because, and the skin's on right now, but let's see if I can flip the skin up. Nope, it's not gonna let me. All right. So, right here down the middle, there's like this little part of cartilage there. You don't want to cut that open because then that gets into the meat and it's just chewy. So you gotta get right on the very side of it.
Almost like carving a turkey.
Yeah, like you can see right there, that's the cartilage. So you want to go just to the right of it. And I will say, sharp knives make all the difference. So, and then I twist it around, and I basically just carve down the cartilage right there. So, and just try to avoid any bones. And I'm also trying to get as much of the meat as I can.
So what do you think of having us do it ourselves versus having somebody else come to our farm and do it?
Well, if you want easy, and have somebody come do it, but it is such an experience to do it yourself, and I
You
feel like
you appreciate it
yeah, I do, and I actually really enjoy this part of the process, the piecing out.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying to know that you're kind of responsible for your own food, and
Yeah.
you're kind of doing all the work yourself. You can make sure, like, I want to make sure I get every single little tiny chunk of meat off of this.
Yeah.
Whereas someone who's paid to do it's probably not going to worry about that as much.
Right.
And, you know, who knows how much meat he's going to leave behind that you might have wanted to save and
Right.
would have gone after yourself.
So how do you feel like these chicken breasts compare to the chicken breasts at the store?
as far as quality or and poundage, size, whatever?
So the size of them, like this
Yeah.
part of it, I feel like that's pretty close to the size of a store-bought. However, the store-bought are not nearly as thick.
Yeah.
And I actually was noticing that yesterday when we were doing ours. So there's a bone there. I'm going to try to get around that without cutting my finger off. There
But
we go.
plus, you know that these chickens have lived a much better quality life than the chickens that
Oh,
are in
yeah.
the store. I've seen some whole chickens at the store. They're like, you know,
So-
7 or 8 pounds.
Yeah, so like the length of them, that's
Yeah.
about what you would buy at the store. However, look at that. Look how thick that is. That I feel like that's a lot thicker than the
Yeah.
stuff you'd get at the store. So, and then now I've got a clean carcass.
What are you going to do with the carcass?
Well, I just remembered I was supposed to weigh it before I shredded it, but we saved the carcass in here. That makes really good soups.
Okay, so you boil the carcass down for soup.
Yes, and it makes really good bone broth.
have you actually had some?
I have. It's delicious and it's very concentrated.
Yeah.
And especially for being sick,
Yeah.
having concentrated bone broth. I remember being sick with, I think it was COVID, and we had bone broth chicken soup, and
Yeah.
I didn't even want the stuff inside it. I just drank the broth. It
Yeah.
was so good, and it was very, very chicken flavor. It was so delicious.
So you didn't think it was gross at all? You liked it?
Oh no, it was. I'm looking forward to that. That's probably one of the things I'm looking forward to the most with doing our own chickens. So
Cool.
very exciting.
Okay,
The feet off of
Virginia,
this.
can you tell us why you're doing things the way you are?
Okay, so we are cutting the legs. We fold the legs the way that they would normally bend, like Joshua's doing, and then we cut right in the middle between the bones, so we're not cutting the bones, and it comes out nice and clean, right that, and it's real easy. And then we're going to I'll move this guy over.
Joshua.
A little bit
Yeah,
of feathers
Oh,
left
right. Excuse me, Mom.
on here.
The hose?
Yep. The cow.
So we've got her in here, and we're going to cut the oil glands off in here.
Why do you want to care
We
about that?
do not want to eat those. It is not going to be a pleasant taste, and they're not necessary. So we just cut it right off the top of the tail,
So what is the oil gland?
the part of the reproductive organs, I guess. And so we'll just stick that right in the gut bucket. Hold on, Joshua. And then we're going to grab the neck over here.
I'm just gonna work on this.
And I like to grab it and slice it more closer to the neck, so that way when you poke a hole in here, you're not exposing all the breast meat, and it keeps as much skin as you can on here.
I noticed you're keeping the necks on these. How come?
I like to keep them on for the cooking, and some people like to take it off and use it separately for broth, but I like to keep it on for the broth.
Okay.
And because it doesn't hurt, I think it gives a little extra flavor too when you're cooking. And then I just leave it on after cooking for when I go to boil the bones.
Okay.
And it just makes it easy.
Yeah.
So, and then here's the crop. So open this up here after our slit, so then we still have lots of skin that's going over the breast meat. You're not losing the skin there.
Yeah.
This is the crop where their food goes when they first eat it before it goes to the stomach.
Yeah.
And we're going to
And it's
detach
nice and
this.
it's nice and skinny
It
because
is nice and empty because they've been fasting.
how long do you have your chickens fast for?
About 18 to 24 hours.
Okay.
So,
But they still have access to water.
yes, they still, and ours are on the grass, and so they can still eat the grass if they choose to eat the grass.
Yeah.
And that's not going to really fill up their crops.
Right.
So that's not a big issue if they're eating that. It's just the grains. We keep them off the grains about 24 hours-ish
Okay.
at the most before we butcher them.
Virginia,
That
did you
was
want
easy.
only 2 breasts in a bag?
Yes, please.
All right.
was able to just grab
Okay,
this
so
and
then
hold
we
it out.
got the
Uh-oh.
esophagus, or the yes,
Trachea
the
and the,
esophagus. The trachea came off with the head,
Okay.
and the esophagus, and then we're just gonna let that sit here because that is all gonna come out with the rest of the guts on the other side.
Okay.
And so we're gonna turn it around, and grab it under the breastbone
All right, Joshua.
and make it nice and tight.
Uh-huh.
The skin tight in here, and we're just gonna do a sideways slit into the valley here.
Are you worried about cutting too deep?
No, because I'm just doing real gentle, slow cuts, and then when this opens up here, I can use my fingers to open it up more so that way I'm not cutting too much and rupture or nicking any of the bowels. You don't want the bowels punctured.
Right.
And then this has a lot of fat on here, so I'm going to cut the fat away from the stomach or the gizzard real gently to try not to poke or nick any organs or anything,
Better not be.
or any other guts. And then
Is it?
and so that's so that way we can keep the fat on the as much fat as we can on the bird, so for when it cooks it'll have some nice flavor.
Right.
And so we're just gonna reach in there then.
This is again.
Reach my hand in there and scoop it out, and there's a little bit of poop, and sometimes that'll happen even when their stomachs are empty. And so then here comes the crop and the esophagus right out, and so real easy, just comes right, everything comes right out together. And so there's the heart. We're gonna put that in our heart and liver bucket, and so we will save the hearts and livers, and then we're gonna detach the liver here from the rest of it.
Is that hard?
It can be, because there's a little gallbladder sac here that we do not want to rupture.
Why do we not want that?
It stinks really bad, and it will. It can.
Like contaminate it?
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Okay. It will can contaminate the other pieces that you're trying to save.
Okay.
So we want to be really, like, I didn't get this off with the rest of here, so I'm just going to be really gentle in cutting this off of the liver, and so I'll have to take a little tiny chunk of liver off with it. But that's
what do
okay.
people save the livers for?
No worries.
A lot of people like to feed them to their dogs, their
I'm
animals,
using
you
this
know, sometimes pigs, or eat them themselves because they are like the most, you know, nutrient dense
This chicken.
food. One of the most nutrient dense. Oh, and I ruptured it.
Oh, but what does that look like?
And it's bright green, so you'll know when you rupture it. It's bright green like antifreeze. So
oh wow!
I'm just gonna.
Got some poo.
I think you
It
guys
does.
need a hose.
Yeah.
I need a hose.
More so when you let it sit, but it does, and so I don't, because it's all over the liver now. I'm not going to keep this liver.
Sure.
So and we will just hose this off. Every once in a while
Stuff happens.
we'll get that, but we just hose it off and keep our.
But at least it didn't happen inside the chicken.
No, yeah. I mean, even then, you can probably you're hosing it off, and then because after we're done here, they'll go into a. Oh,
She
actually,
needs
I got
it.
some more. I got some poop on here. Poo. I think that's good.
They go into a special bath, don't
And
they?
then yes, after we're done here, they will go into a vinegar bath, and the vinegar will help clean the bird and relax the muscles, so it's not such a shock going into the cold water. So you're not going to get like a real tough bird.
And how are you
for
doing
eating.
this? Because this is the part that's always gotten me worried.
This part right here.
Yeah.
So you're gonna cut, and I can turn this around a little. We're gonna cut. So this is the end of the intestine that goes into
the rectum
the anal.
area?
Yes, the rectal.
So you
And so
the
we're gonna
hose?
cut.
Okay.
So I kind of hold
Excuse
this
me.
as a guide,
Yeah.
and we're gonna cut on each side of here. So I'm gonna move this fat out of the way because we want to keep that. I'm gonna cut on one side. And I'm not pulling real hard, just enough to give it a little bit of tension to make a good cut. And cut on the other side. And then see this little sack right here, that's kind of where all the poop goes before it comes out. And then we're gonna, so I cut on both sides, and now I'm gonna cut underneath to pull that off.
And that way it's nice and clean. Wow,
Yes,
look at that.
and now the last thing is I got to get the lungs, because the lungs will not come off with the rest of the organs. They will, they are attached on the rib cage, in the back of the rib cage, and so I got to yank those out, kind of dig into the ribs there. So there's one, and there's the other, and
No crap in
all
this
the.
one.
And we got to do a quick check, make sure everything is out of there, and it is, and so that's all good and clean.
every wall. Come one, come all. You're like an early morning breeze. Your soft red lips and gentle tease. You must have been sent just for me. Come one, come all. Just when I need you, you set sail and navigate. But when I need you, you lift me up till we levitate. You're mesmerizing, hypnotizing. My eyes are set on you. Through the fields of young romance, and under blue skies with an open glance, we head over heels, filled with dreams. Come all, everything.
We had so much fun those 3 days. Yes, it did take us 3 days to do everything. I hope this video has been helpful to you and will give you the encouragement to go ahead and do your own chickens and be able to kind of take control back for your family, to feed your family and take care of you, and to know where your food is coming from. We had a great time, and I really hope that you enjoy the video and take from it everything you possibly can. So big, huge thanks to my friend Virginia for letting us use her farm and for all of her equipment and her knowledge and experience. And she just made everything so smooth and enjoyable. And I'm looking forward to our next batch of chickens this coming summer. Hopefully, I can make my camera work better with the sound. Happy farming, everybody.
You're mesmerizing, hypnotizing.